This is our second video of the day because remember, in our AM video, I told you, expect a Derek Carr injury update later today. Well, it's later. Time to get into the injury update. Derek Carr, he is expected to miss multiple games due to an oblique injury. And in today's video, we're going to go through everything you need to know around Derek Carr. What are the internal options? What's the plan moving forward for the New Orleans Saints? But I got to remind you to subscribe today for more injury updates, not just around the quarterbacks, around every player. Kendre Miller specifically is a player I'm looking out for right now. There's going to be quarterback buzz. We got to talk about external options for quarterbacks. We'll talk about that in the future. And then we're going live tomorrow afternoon, so be sure to subscribe and join us for our live show tomorrow afternoon. We go live multiple times a week. We give you videos almost every single day, and I'm a man of my word. When I promise you I'm going to give you a video, I deliver. So be sure to lock us in. So not a lot of good news for Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints offense, and unfortunately, I'm going to dive into it. Also, for those of you who want Davante Adams, we got a lot to discuss, so let's just start off with the injury update. Thank you again for joining today's video. My name is Girouard. Welcome to Saints Now, but let's talk Derek Carr because we all know that this is a guy who's really tough, and he's a player who's dealt with injuries multiple times throughout his career. And on top of that, oblique injuries, it's nothing minor. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to med school. My roommate a couple years ago was in med school. It's pretty much it. But I can tell you right now, an oblique injury, it's not something to mess around with. And especially when you're a quarterback, when you're doing your throwing motion, just doing this. Getting up off the couch, getting out of your chair, laying down to go to bed. Your back is used for literally everything. So if you don't know what the external oblique injury is, we actually have a picture right here. So it's kind of like the external part of the oblique, hence the name. Again, I'm not a doctor. This is a picture of what the injury is kind of, where it should be and stuff. So that's that. Do what you want with this information. I just wanted to relay it and share it to you guys. But at the end of the day, when it comes to injuries, I just hate to see them. I think it's absolutely the worst part about sports. And unfortunately, it's a very real part about sports. We are also only in week 6. We just finished week 5. New Orleans Saints have a lot of games left, so you have to have a plan. And when it comes to having a plan moving forward, Davante Adams, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm going to read you this update. I saw it come across my screen, and I'm reading it live on air for the first time. This coming in from Josina Anderson. I'm told that Saints quarterback Derek Carr's oblique injury is considered week to week per source. Moreover, my understanding is that Carr's recent injury does not necessarily impact New Orleans' interest in continuing trade discussions for Davante Adams. The sentiment now is that interest is contingent on Adams' current evaluations of his prospect teams, given the outcome of week 5 games. In case you didn't know, all the teams that he was looking to possibly play for, pretty sure all 4 of them they lost, which is pretty interesting. Even still, an agreement on draft pick compensation is necessary. The energy on this portion of the potential transaction was stagnant even before Carr got hurt. Like another league source told me, quote, the urgency is with the Raiders to resolve the Davante situation because they're the ones paying him. So in terms of Davante Adams, it doesn't change the Saints' interest in wanting to go and get Adams, but maybe Adams is a lot less interested in coming to New Orleans. At the end of the day, it's the Raiders' decision because they're the one who owns the contract, but that is the update around moving forward. What's the plan with Davante Adams? What's the plan for who's going to start as the quarterback over the next couple of weeks? I'm going to tell you in just a second. But be sure to not subscribe. We already told you to do that. Be sure to show some love to Derek Carr. Send some good vibes. Type his jersey number down below. It's, again, love him or hate him. You still got to watch him because he's your starting quarterback for your favorite football team. And it's not fun news. It's very upsetting. It's unfortunate. That being said, it's a real part about sports. So we're going to have to send Derek Carr some good vibes. I don't want anybody hating on Carr. I want you to only send some loves because injuries are not fun. So I talked about moving forward. Well, what is coming up? What is forward? What do we have coming up next? Tough game, short week. Not that tough a game, but short week. Still don't really know. Bad team, never won a Super Bowl. So I think you're fine. I think you're okay. That being said, if in these 2 weeks right here, you get a little bit more banged up, oh boy, that's not good. The fun fact, the New Orleans Saints, this is year number 6 in a row that they've had a quarterback injury. So awesome. But who could fill in? Who's the option? Well, these are your 3 options right now. Derek Carr is your quarterback 1. Jake Haener has been the backup all season. And Spencer Rattler has been a healthy scratch every week. He's actually been listed as the emergency 3rd quarterback. That's why he hasn't been inactive. And that's why he wasn't available yesterday when the Saints threw Jake Haener into the mix on Monday Night Football. Now, could Rattler actually play? Mike Garafolo. Interesting report here. He's a, quote, strong candidate to get the start in Derek Carr's absence. I like it. I like it. I'm all aboard. I'm all in on the agenda. I'm 100% in support of it. If you wanted to go with another option, it's not an option I like. Taysom Hill. I know a lot of people are going to be in the comment section saying Taysom Hill needs to be the quarterback over the next 2 weeks. No, he does not. May I remind you, he's also coming off of injuries. He's also banged up. He also isn't a starting quarterback in the National Football League. He also hasn't been training as a quarterback this entire season. So I'm good. No, I don't want Taysom Hill to start. He is much, much better. He is much more effective when he's utilized in the role that he has been filling in for the past 2 seasons. If you disagree with me, I'm sorry. We will never see eye to eye on this. Taysom Hill should not be a starting quarterback. He's a phenomenal football player. One of the best all-around football players to ever do it. But he should not be a starting quarterback. I love him. Number 7 is one of my favorite players, but I'm not looking to him to give me a quarterback for 2 weeks. I'm just not. You know where I am looking, though? Whenever I'm trying to save some money and get some tickets, it's Game Time. It's my favorite ticketing app, and Game Time is the best ticketing app. And on top of being the best ticketing app, they're also the most user-friendly ticketing app. And Game Time has a brand new feature called Game Time Picks that helps filter out the fluff whenever you're searching through whenever you're searching through tickets to make getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. They filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. When you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. You can use those savings to get yourself some gear, maybe some concessions at a LSU game, Tulane. The Pelicans are about to get started. LSU baseball is always a lot of fun. So if you want to get tickets to any of these events, feel free to check it out on Game Time. But if you're not in Louisiana or in the Gulf Coast region, that's A-OK. They got tickets all across the country. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but once again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So let's talk about starting Spencer Rattler. We'll talk a little bit about Haener, but I want to talk a lot about Rattler here. This is my show, and I want to talk about starting Spencer Rattler because he's a good football player, man. He was effective in the preseason. He was smart. He ran the offense well. He showed good poise. He showed control. Spencer Rattler is an impressive young man. And I can understand where people are a little bit weary of him and say, oh, he sucks, he stinks. He left Oklahoma, he transferred out. He's terrible. Well, first of all, he's a hell of a lot better of a quarterback than you are. He's not terrible. There's a reason he was drafted to the NFL. No, he's not terrible. Spencer Rattler's a good quarterback. Whether you like it or not, he is a really good quarterback. If you don't like him because of that Netflix series, I would encourage you to just get the fuck over it because let's go back and look at yourself in high school. You probably were a little bit of a smart ass a little bit too. So that's just my take on that. When it comes to Spencer Rattler as a football player, though, he has talent. He has really good attributes. And I trust Spencer Rattler more as a starting quarterback than Jake Haener. And earlier I said it. People are still going to say it in my comment section. But I said it earlier. I made a short about it. I posted on the channel before this video. I made a video this morning, and you're still going to say that I hate Jake Haener. But I don't. I like Jake Haener. I just really love Spencer Rattler. And I think that he can be great for a multitude of reasons, but these are the 5 ones that I have summed up for you. The arm talent is absolutely off the chain. He can hit every single level. He can throw it from sideline to sideline. He can throw it at any point. His accuracy, his arm talent, it is just absolutely incredible. The pocket awareness is very impressive. He's tough. He has good mobility. He can use his legs, not just to extend plays, but to create plays. And I'm not saying he's a Lamar Jackson, but in terms of when I'm not saying he is a Patrick Mahomes type player, but the way he moves and how he buys himself, he's not going to scramble for 150 yards and burn every DB and just run. There's not going to be designed quarterback runs, but if he needs to scramble, he can make something happen. That's similar to Patrick Mahomes. That's that out of structure playmaking that he also shows. And then the best part about it is he's in a phenomenal situation where he can sit, he can learn, he can develop, and thus and go get some wins. And when it comes to the preseason, Jake Haener statistically was more productive or was better than Spencer Rattler. He had more yards, had less touchdowns, had a higher completion percentage, but he also threw Spencer Rattler threw 38 passes to Haener's 43. The passer rating favored Spencer Rattler just slightly. And something that's not mentioned here is, again, the rushing ability. It's not a knock on Haener, but if you really hate Spencer Rattler and you're like, absolutely not, it's Jake Haener, Derek Carr, or literally nobody, I would encourage you to look in the mirror and turn off your Fresno State blinders because, unfortunately, Fresno State is not a quarterback powerhouse and they're producing NFL talent every single day. That being said, I want you to go ahead and pick a quarterback for me. Type Spencer Rattler, type SR for Spencer Rattler, type JH for Jake Haener. Let me know. We asked you earlier today. It was pretty split. And honestly may have favored Spencer Rattler a little bit more, but let me know. Who do you want to be the starting quarterback? It was originally if one of them has to go. Now it is one of them has to go. Who do you want it to be? So how are we going to win football games? We looked back at the schedule. There's 5 very important games coming up. How are you going to win? You're going to lean on your weapons. What have you not been doing recently? Leaning on your weapons. The top weapons in New Orleans are really, really good. Taysom Hill was inactive last night. He's been inactive a couple different times this season. He's been dealing with a multitude of injuries, and that's just not fun. But not to mention the 4 guys you see on screen. You also have Kendre Miller returning soon from injury. You have Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau as well. Cedric Wilson, maybe he can finally put it together. A.T. Perry recently got cut. He made it through waivers. Why don't you go get him back? He averages over 20 yards a catch and 6'5". I'm sorry. That's probably pretty helpful right now when you're in the New Orleans Saints situation. And also not to mention, you got Bub Means, you got Mason Tipton. You have other players that can be playmakers, but these are your top weapons in my personal opinion. And just to round things out here, guys, it's not good news. It's unfortunate. But for those of you who really want to see Spencer Rattler start, you might get it sooner than we all thought. For those of you who are just massive Derek Carr fans and just no matter what, you're going to stand by Derek Carr, it's bad news because he's hurt and you hate to see a quarterback and a quality player and a quality man get injured. I'm not happy about it. It sucks to see him, and I've shared a lot of my thoughts on social media. You've seen the usernames kind of be flickering all throughout the day, so feel free to give me a follow. Y'all stay golden. We will see you tomorrow at our live show.